Right, Roshan, I love this story. How on earth do you go from having a drink Friday night in a bar before Christmas 5 years ago to later this year doing 6 marathons in the desert in Jordan? Tell us.
Yeah, I never used to be a runner. Like the longest I'd run at that point, from the point I walked out of that bar, like the longest distance I'd ever run in a single shot was 10K. I've done that once in my life, and I was very chuffed. But this person I met in the bar had run 4 desert ultra marathons across Namibia, Chile, Mongolia, and Antarctica, the cold desert, the last desert on the planet. And I was just like your reaction when you heard my story. I was blown away. I was like, but you look like a normal person. You look very Joe average, walking down the street, sat in a bar, very unassuming. So I got chatting to him, and he convinced me in that moment that anyone can do it, because he was, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, he's an average person. Like I'm an average person. I'm just me, he's just him. And he convinced me that anyone can do it because it's a mental challenge, not a physical challenge. To finish it is a mental challenge, not a physical challenge. And I can be a stubborn human being.
I remember you telling me that.
I can be committed.
Yeah. One of your greatest assets, remember you told me. So, all right, so you just decided on the spot. I remember you were saying, like, was it the Friday night or the Saturday morning the next day, you like, all right, I'm going to sign up, I'm going to pay. Like, what was the way that you made yourself do it?
So the commitment steps, because once you're a few beers down, and like I'd signed up there and then, because I was like, if I don't do this now, it's not going to happen tomorrow. So using a bit of Dutch courage, I went to the website, looked at the race. It was 7 months out, the Gobi March in Mongolia. Signed up there and then, and I was like really chuffed. I was like, yeah, I've signed up. I'm going to do this. And he turns to me and goes, well, you've just signed up. You haven't. When you put the deposit down, then you're committed. Then you're in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I take the credit card out, get the email, go through to the link, pay it, and I went, oh, yeah, this is real. He's right. So then I called for my tab, settled up, and I was like, I should go home. Like, I need to start training tomorrow morning. So this is the first Friday in forever, 10 p.m. I've already paid my bill. I'm on my way home. And as I'm in the taxi on the way home, I just went, you know what? There is a slight possibility in the morning I'll wake up, remember all of this, and go, just write it off. So I took a screenshot of the confirmation email I got from the race organizers, the auto confirmation. I took a screenshot of that from my phone and WhatsApped it to a bunch of WhatsApp groups, to my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got home, went straight to bed, and then I woke up to like a flurry of messages overnight of people going, wow, that's amazing. 250 kilometers, how are you going to do that? And I went, yeah, I'm in it now. So
I love that.
What do you do the morning after you've signed up for an ultra marathon? You put on your running shoes and you just go and take the first step. So I went out and did just a humble 7 or 8K, like just slow pace. But that morning I just had to get out and take the first step. And so there's a lot of good psychology behind that. I didn't know at the time, but spending now a lot of time running, hiking. I've listened to a bunch of podcasts, and the psychology is simple. It's often referred to as the 5-second rule. So if you want to do something, you count down from 5, and as soon as you hit 0, you just go and do it. Because if you delay, if you're like, I'm going to do it in an hour, I'm going to do it tomorrow, the difference between doing it tomorrow from today and doing it tomorrow from tomorrow is I've already delayed it by 1 day. What's another day? What's another day? What's another day? Before you know it, you haven't done anything. Yeah. So I didn't realize that at the time, but just putting on the running shoes, getting out there and going running was the equivalent of the 5-second rule. Like just go out, don't think about it for too long. And then the other things, there was financial commitment, there was social commitment. The social commitment was by far and beyond the most powerful one.
Yeah. I love that. It's like that idea of kind of like burn your boats. There's no way out now. And what's the equivalent of burn your boats, whether it's like financial, social, all of the above, but putting yourself on the hook. Yeah. What was it? Talk us through like that first run, that 7 to 8K run. Do you remember any of the emotion, feeling, regret, excitement that you had as you were doing that, in terms of knowing that this was the first of many, hit outs if you were going to achieve this goal?
Yeah. I mean, I can be a pragmatist at times. So the 7 or 8K I did was a usual route that I had done before. Like, it was out my doorstep. I'm in Singapore, run along the river, out to Marina Bay Sands, come back. And usually I considered that my long run. But I was like, okay, this is a comfortable run. The goal wasn't to like, oh, now it's day one and I need to do 5 or 10K more than I've ever done before. It was just, let me get out and run. And so also, this is what I realized looking back on it, what I'd done unintentionally was a trick I've used often now, which is lower the bar, just lower the goal to the easiest possible thing you want to achieve. And so going out and doing my usual route just to get running meant I wouldn't procrastinate on it. And so I've taken that to a bunch of different forms now. So if you want to go out running in the morning, the best thing you can do is go to bed in your workout clothes, because when you wake up in the morning, you've got one less thing, you've got one less barrier to get out the door. You just need to put your socks on, put your shoes on, and get out the door. If you don't feel like running, you're just like, okay, today I'm going to run 1 kilometer. Compared to I now don't run anything less than 10 kilometers. I feel a little bit shortchanged. I've come a long way. I've come a long way in 5 years. But if you're ever feeling lethargic and you don't want to do something, just find the smallest possible currency that you can do. And so 1 kilometer is fairly achievable for most people. So if you don't feel like going out running, just say today I'm just going to run 1 kilometer, and you track it on a watch or a usual route. And almost guaranteed by the time you're 1 kilometer down, you're feeling pretty good, you can keep going. But I remember feeling comfortable, to answer your question, because I picked the easiest, smallest possible unit I could pick to get started. And then just came a weekend long research. Like I was like, okay, how do I actually train for this thing? And so there
remind me, like, how long, sorry to interrupt, how long did you have, just remind me, between when you signed up? 7 months. Okay.
So between signing up and doing the race, I had 7 months to go from a 10K runner to a 250 kilometer finisher.
Gosh, there's so much relevance to life with that, isn't there? And I heard someone say once with the marathon, like, you don't run a marathon and hope to do it without getting tired. It's about knowing what to do when you get tired and where to put the tired. And I can't imagine how much that's true.
That is just so true. Like, so part of the reason I had the goal of this training is to just finish is because really the whole point of just finishing in training is because if you have to remind yourself you just need to finish, it means you're suffering. And when you're suffering, what you're really doing by just focusing on finishing is training your mind to, like, mind over matter, push through. How do I overcome the challenge? And, by the time I'd gone from running my 8K long runs to 15K long runs, it became really apparent this thing was going to be difficult. It's no walk through. Running an ultra marathon through a desert is no walk in a park.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it? And so exposing my brain to as much discomfort and then overcoming that discomfort is really what I needed. That's the training the mind part. And in doing so, I just happened to also be training the body, because the best way to train your mind to overcome discomfort is by putting your body in discomfort. And the way I chose to do that is by going longer and longer distances with a heavier and heavier pack. So the physical benefits were almost tangential to the purpose of the training, which was, how do I train the brain? How do you train resilience to overcome discomfort, so that when 100% guaranteed when I'm feeling uncomfortable, in pain, discomfort during the actual race, I've got some benchmark of, I've been here before.
Yeah.
And I've overcome it. And I know I just need to get my brain to tell my left foot to move forward. And at some point, hopefully it will start to feel better. It's transient.
Yeah.
So the next race is in Jordan. It's stunning. So a lot of these races for me are more of a form of travel than it is the race. That just happens to combine two things now. But a lot of these races take place in remote parts of the planet that are difficult to get to. The Mongolia one took us through a UNESCO World Heritage Site where the race organizers got permits for each of us to be able to enter. So you go to places you wouldn't normally go to as a tourist. And so the next race is in Jordan. It's a special edition race of Racing the Planet. It's their 20th anniversary race. I think they've only raced there once or twice before. But I'd seen it on their website and I was like, if they ever do a Jordan race, I've never been to Jordan. I'm going to sign up for that. And one weekend last year, I was like scrolling through, doom scrolling through Instagram. You can have all the discipline in the world, but there's a few joys in life, and doom scrolling is one of them for me. Doom scrolling, and it just came up on my phone. Jordan race has been announced as the 20th anniversary, and so I signed up there and then.
So good. I love it.
Yeah, I told my partner, I was like, "Hey Rachel, they've got this Jordan race." She's like, "You signed up for it already, haven't you?" It's like, yeah. And the race is stunning. It starts in Wadi Rum, which is kind of like the heart of the Arabian desert, and we finish in front of the treasury in Petra, a place I've also always wanted to go to. So it's this, and then all of the stunning things in between.
So what advice would you give to anyone thinking about signing up with that intent, in terms of like, this could be the moment where I really make a change?
Well, I like things coming full circle. So the one advice I'd give if you're thinking about doing a What's My Kilimanjaro challenge is, right now, whatever you're doing, pause, count down from 5 to 0, just count down 5 seconds, and then go to the link and just sign up. Just sign up. That's the one thing you can do. Everything else will fall into place once you've signed up, but just sign up, count down for 5 seconds, and just do it now.
I love it. And then maybe the other, in the next thing they could do is then, as you said, share it. Because
reshare it. If there's one more thing you need to do, sign up and then reshare it, then you're on the hook. Yeah. Love it.
Great advice, mate. This has been so inspiring. Really grateful to have connected, obviously through Armour, and can't wait to see and hear about the race later in the year. And thanks again for just showing up so generously in all areas of life, including this race and what you're doing with us at Projects. Thanks, mate.
It's amazing, and keep spreading awesomeness, Mark.
Will do. Well, with people like you, it's not hard. Thanks, mate.